She was a woman who slept with snakes, organized the murders of kings, and commanded armies. Yet history remembers her only as the mother of Alexander the Great. All her great and terrible deeds have been forgotten. So who was the real Olympias and how did she live? Welcome to the channel Fateful Women of the Ages. Here we examine and discuss the fates of women whose willpower and determination had an indelible, truly fateful impact on history. Olympia was born in ancient times as Princess Polyxena in the wild kingdom of Epirus. Her family claimed that their lineage descended from the legendary warrior Achilles. But Polyxena was not satisfied with her royal origins. She changed her name to Olympia and joined the mysterious cult of Dionysus, which worshipped snakes. The cult of Dionysus with snakes is part of the ancient Greek worship of the god of wine and ecstasy, in which the snake was his sacred symbol, associated with the underworld, death, and rebirth. In the rituals and myths of Dionysus, snakes appeared as his incarnation, an attribute of the priestess's maenads, and a sign of a mystical union with the god. Olympia was a devoted participant in unimaginable orgies and rituals with snakes. Ancient sources claim that as a priestess, she even slept with snakes in her bed. Snakes were not just religious symbols, they made her terrifying. And so, when she came of age, her father married her off to the most powerful man in Greece, Philip II of Macedon. This was not just a marriage. It was a political union between two worlds: wild, freedom-loving Epirus and cruel, domineering Macedon. But in Macedonia, Olympias is not accepted. She is a stranger. She is a woman who whispers to snakes. And she wants only one thing: for her son to become king. The night before the wedding, Olympias had a dream that lightning struck her womb, igniting a fire that spread everywhere. That same night, Philip dreamed that he sealed her womb with the image of a lion. And that same year, they had a son, Alexander. From this moment on, Olympias begins to build a myth. Alexander is not just the son of King Philip. He is the son of Zeus, who appeared to her in the form of a snake, and she is the mother of a god. She instills in her son ambition, a thirst for greatness and belief in his divine destiny. But the more Alexander grows, the more Philip fears his wife. He takes other wives, and he begins to doubt, whose son is Alexander really? And then Olympias asks herself a question that changes history. What if my son becomes king not after his father's long life, but after his death? Philip II of Macedon, husband of Olympias and father of Alexander the Great, was assassinated in the Macedonian capital of Ega during a grand celebration. The murder took place at a lavish wedding banquet celebrating the marriage of Philip's daughter Cleopatra to Alexander Molossus, Olympia's brother and king of Epirus. Philip decided to put on a grand spectacle, a parade and a theatrical performance. Philip, proud of his achievements and his upcoming campaign against Persia, entered the theater without guards, demonstrating his confidence and grandeur. He came dressed in white, symbolizing his divinity. One of the king's elite bodyguards, Pausanias, ran up to Philip during the celebration and stabbed him in the chest with a dagger. Philip fell dead on the spot. The wound was fatal. Pausanias tried to flee, but he was immediately caught and stabbed with spears. Pausanias was Philip's former lover, but the king had replaced him with another young man. The offended Pausanias insulted the new favorite, and as punishment, he was handed over to the slaves to be abused. This humiliation led to revenge. The official version of the Macedonians is a Persian conspiracy. The Persians ordered the murder to prevent Philip's campaign into their empire. But everyone knows who won: Alexander and his mother. Alexander becomes king of Macedonia, but who is really behind the throne? Who convinced him that he was a god? Who removed his father from his path? Then Alexander leaves to conquer the world, and Olympia's remains. She is not just the queen mother. She becomes the de facto ruler of Macedonia. Olympias played a decisive role in eliminating competition for the throne. She initiated the execution of the king's cousin, the Lyncian princes, and the commander Attalus, and also arranged the death of Philip's young wife Cleopatra and her daughter in order to destroy this branch of power. She decides who lives and who dies. She suppresses conspiracies. She destroys enemies. But after Alexander's sudden death, she faced her greatest challenge: protecting her young grandson, Alexander IV, from those who wanted to destroy Alexander's lineage. Olympias found herself at the center of a power struggle between the Diadochi. Because of this conflict, she was forced to leave the capital of Pella and flee to Epirus. But she continued to pursue her political agenda from abroad, relying on her family ties with the kings of Epirus and the support of part of the Macedonian army. And so, at the age of 60, Olympias did what was almost impossible for a woman in the ancient world. She took up arms and led an army into battle. At the head of the Epirus army, she invaded Macedonia to seize power on behalf of Alexander the Great's grandson. The armies of Eurydice and Philip III offered little resistance. Realizing that they were fighting Alexander the Great's mother, the soldiers either defected to her side or surrendered without a fight. It was a psychological triumph for Olympias. Her status as Mother of the Great played a decisive role. Her army defeated the forces of King Philip III and his wife Eurydice, and Olympias effectively became Queen of Macedonia, ruling on behalf of her young grandson. But her struggle for power did not end there. Olympia's most dangerous enemy was Cassander, the general's eldest son, whom Alexander the Great left to rule Macedonia and Greece during his campaigns. Cassander marched on Macedonia with 3 armies. Olympias divided her forces to repel the attack, but ended up trapped and besieged in the fortress of Pydna. Hunger, despair, betrayal. In the end, Olympias surrenders, hoping for mercy. Cassander promises to spare her, but it is a lie. After capturing Olympias, he orders her execution. However, the soldiers refuse to kill Alexander the Great's mother. Then Cassander finds another way. According to the historian, Olympias was stoned to death by the families of her numerous victims. It is described that she came out in royal attire, walking proudly with her head held high, accompanied by 2 maidservants and saying, "Even in a dying mother, one can see Alexander." Cassander denied her body a proper burial. It was the greatest insult. Olympia died, but her legacy outlived her terrible demise. She was ruthless, ambitious, and uncompromisingly powerful in a world where women had no rights. She worshipped snakes, organized murders, commanded armies, and fought to the last breath for her dynasty. Was Olympia a monster? Or was she simply a woman who refused to be weak in a cruel and ruthless world of men? Where did exceptional women throughout history find the desire and strength to be independent? Subscribe to our channel, where we will try to remember them all.